Hello friends. In this tutorial, we will learn how can we manage some content from the back office and how to display it on the front office of the PrestaShop. Let me explain what we are going to do. We will take a text box and the save button here. We will save some content here and the same content will be displayed in the front office. We will take off this banner. As we are learning new features, so we will make frequent changes in the module. So follow me and let's see how can we achieve that. Now, you know that this screen is from the admin template. So we will modify it to add the save button and we will put all this content in the form tag so we can submit the info. We already have the from tag, we just need to add the save button. Let's write code for that. Whatever HTML code I write here is the bootstrap classes for the PrestaShop back office. You can learn this HTML from other modules or from PrestaShop back office itself. Our focus is on PrestaShop module coding, not the HTML. The HTML code is not the subject to learn here. If you wish, then you can write your own class and can assign your own CSS. You just need to focus on the functionality. What you need to know is how the code works. I am done with the button, but I need to put this button within the form tag, so I am going to expand the form tag so everything will be within the form tag. Let's give a name to this button. Now we will write any string or text here, and by pressing the save button the string should be saved in the database somewhere and the same should be displayed on the front office. We have this submit button within the form element, so when we click it, it will submit the form. And the form will be submitted to the get content function, which we have written for the admin configuration screen. So it will be submitted here. So whatever we need to write should be in the get content function. In the PrestaShop, there is a method to detect the submit action, which is the isSubmit method from the tools class. You can check it from the tools class. So here are the classes, and let me find the tools class, and what we want is the isSubmit function. Well, you can use the isSet from the core PHP, but we will follow the standard of the PrestaShop. So I will check it with the isSubmit method and as a key provide the name of the button, so let just copy the name of the button. See, it is the wrong spelling of setting, but fine as we are copying it. If we want to save any data but we don't have our own table, then we can use the configuration table of the PrestaShop itself to save our data. You need two things for that. The first is the key to point the data and the other is the data itself. You can retrieve the data using the same key you used to save the data. Let's do that. The value will be from this print name. Let's use a variable to retrieve it. Here you can use the super global variable post, but no, we will use the standard method given by PrestaShop, which is the getValue function of the tools class. In the parameter of the getValue function, we will pass the name print. To save the data in the configuration table, we have the class with the same name. To save data, we use its static method updateValue. In this method, the first parameter is the key, and there is a tradition to write this in all uppercase, so let's write multipurpose str. And as the second parameter, we will give the variable name. If you want to save the HTML data, then you need to use the third parameter, which is Boolean true or false. If the data is HTML, then true, else false. If this key is saved already in the database, then the data will be updated, and if not, then the new record will be inserted, so don't worry about the insert and update operation. Just make sure you use the correct variable and keys. If everything is fine here, then data should be saved in the database table. Now come to the second point. After saving it, we need to retrieve it. And after retrieval, we need to send it to the configuration screen. The PrestaShop controller provides the functions for that too. Write something exactly like this. We are going to send the variable to the Smarta template, so we will use this means this module's context to set the variable to its Smarta property. And for that, we use the assign method. You can pass the single variable, but if you want to pass more than one, then you can use the array. I will use the same key here. Now, to retrieve the value from the configuration table, we use the get method of the configuration class. Again, it is a static method. In the parameter, we need to pass the key. If the key exists in the database, then we will have the value, else it will return the null. Here, the get method of the configuration class will get the value from the database, and it will be assigned to the multipurpose string variable. And we can use it in the configuration screen. Let's print this in the value property of the text box. I had an anomaly in the design of the button because I had written the wrong spelling of the default. Till now we have done everything whatever we need for the back office. We have the text box and a button to save it. With the click of the save button, the text will be saved in the database, and again we retrieve it and display it in the configuration window. Later, we will display the same text on the front office too. Before testing it, let me set the submit method for the form element and refresh the page. Let's write something here. And save it. You can see there is the data even after page load, means it has been saved in the database and retrieved by the code we have written in the getContent method. In the same manner, we need to send it to the front office. To retrieve it again, you need to use the same assign function, but this time in the hook display home function. I have just copied the entire block. I did not need to change anything in that block of the code. I have written this code in the hook display home function, that is why I can access the data in the home.tpl file too. So let's copy this variable and print it to the home. Now we don't need this image. Keep in mind that you need to use the $sign for the variable. Let me save this code and reload the page. You can see the same text here. Let's make it bit meaningful and more readable with CSS design. See, we can update this text from the back office. Let's give it some style. We already have the loaded CSS file. Let's add a label tag here with the class notice so we can use it in the CSS file. Let's save the files and reload the browser page. Maybe because of cache we cannot see the effect. Let me hard refresh using Ctrl plus F5. And let's set background color black. If it happens to you that you change the style but cannot see the effect, then hard refresh the page using Ctrl and F5. In this way, your browser will clear the previous cache and it will load the fresh copy of the CSS. Now see, as a game, we have added new functionality to the shop. We can display a notice to the customer. If you want to display a long paragraph, then in the back office you can take a text area instead of the text box and write HTML in it. And while saving, give the third parameter boolean true and you can display same in the front office. That is all for the day. In the next tutorial, we will go further. If you like this tutorial series, then don't forget to subscribe my channel and share with your friend.